So this is final exam review. On Wednesday, not Tuesday, on Wednesday, you'll be taking the show work part of your final. And then on Friday, you will be taking the multiple choice version of your final. So these are the types of problems that you will see on your show work section. This is a long video, but if you were ever to watch a whole video, this would be the one to watch. You've been working in that packet. Hopefully, you've been taking it seriously. That's a great help. But this is going to be an even better review, a little more concentrated and focused. Let me get my pen going and then we'll be off. So, make this a little smaller. There we go. So we have this function, y equals f of x, and it says graphed on this interval, -8 to 8. That means here you have -1, -2, -3, -4, -5, -6, -7, -8, and then this goes up to 8 here. So it's just telling you what the domain is, the left to the right. So the domain, remember, that's all the x's. So let me say the leftmost point is -8, -3, and this goes to, I believe, 8, 3. So for domain, you steal the x values. So you would say this goes from -8 to 8, and those are square brackets. The range, I always have to change my colors, goes from bottom to top. So our lowest point here is -3, -4, and our highest point, our maximum, is 1, 4. So for range, you steal the y values. So this goes from -4 to 4. In the interest of keeping this a little bit neater, I'm going to keep clearing my screen. If you need to rewatch something, go back in the video. Now this says evaluate each of the following, f of -2. So when x is -2, we're making a point. On our graph, this is the point -2, -3. So when you have f of -2, it's equal to -3. When x is 8, I already had that one written down. That's the point 8, 3. So you would put a 3 there. Part, that should say part D. Oopsie. Use your graph to find all solutions to the equation f of x equals 3. Well, the x is here. We don't know that. What they're giving us here is a y. They're saying, hey, what are all the points when y is equal to 3? So I'm just going to go through. This is 0, 3. This is 2, 3. And this is the point 8, 3. So if you want, you can write those points down. 0, 3, 2, 3. That's perfectly fine. Or you could say x equals 0 to 8. Either way. Now this is going to be a little bit annoying because I have to keep going up and down. So what are the absolute max and min points? Absolute maximum and absolute minimum values. So points obviously are points. When they say values, they just want the y value. And on a test, you would lose credit if you wrote the whole points. Okay. So the absolute maximum value, I'm just going to write this up here, is your high point. And this goes with the range actually that we had just done. You would say y equals 4. And the absolute min, you look on your bottom point, and that's the point -3, -4. So you would say y equals -4. Let's see what else we got going. The x-intercepts and y-intercepts. Let's do y-intercept. That one's easier. You can give a point if you want, but a lot of people get the zeros mixed up. So that's the 0.03. So you could write 0.3, or you could just write y equals 3. The x-intercepts, there's more of them.
Give me one. Yes.
So I'm going to write all my x-intercepts. This is also known as zeros. It can also be called roots, depending on the problem.
Oh, should I cut it?
5 0. So I wrote all of those points. Now the trick is if you write the points, you might get the 0 and the number mixed up. So it's a safer way to just write the x numbers. Either way, though, is fine. All right, let's see what else we got. Zeros. Okay. Using your graph, find the average rate of change from 4 to 6. Well, we know this average rate of change is also a slope. Okay. So the problem said this. So we're going to look when x is 4. I think we have the point 4, -1. And when x is 6, we have the 0.62. So to find the slope, I'm just going to rewrite my problems. 4, -1. Or I'm sorry, I'm going to rewrite my points. And I'm going to label it x1, y1, and x2, y2. And our formula is y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. So on the top of our fraction, we subtract our y's, 2 minus -1, oh, 2 negatives, and then subtract our x's, 6 minus 4. Put that into your calculator. And you should get 3 over 2. All right. A student in a math class of 10 students, the teacher wanted to determine how a homework grade influenced a student's performance on a subsequent test. The homework grade and subsequent test grade for each student are given in this big old table. Give the equation for the linear regression line for this set. Remember, guys, whenever they ask you for an equation, you're doing stat edit. And since it's linear, then you're going to do stat calc number 4. It doesn't say what you have to round to. So since if you're taking a test, I wouldn't round. Just write the whole stinking decimal, and that way you don't have to worry about it. I'm going to pause my video, come back with the equation. So when I did stat edit and stat calc number 4, I got big decimals, but I just rounded. A is 0.83, B is 14.65. So our equation is y equals 0.83x plus 14.65. So that's part of your problem. Now you have to answer a question. A new student comes to class and earns a homework grade of 78. Based on your equation, what grade would the teacher predict the student would receive on the next test? So look up here. Homework grade is X. Test grade is Y. So since they said the homework grade was 78, that's going to go in the X spot right there. Y equals 0.83 times 78. Make sure you plug this in. Show your work. If you don't show this, you're not getting full credit on this. And then we got to actually calculate this thing. Let's see. So I was doing my stuff on Delta Math. 0.83 times 78. Plus 14.65. Leave them alone, grab. 79.39. So you could guess this person would get about, 79.39. So now here, look, you got to round to the nearest integer. That's a whole number. So you got to take this, they would get about a 79. Okay, here's the system's word problem. The cost of 3 notebooks and 4 pencils is $7. The cost of 5 notebooks and 8 pencils is $12. Write a system of equations to model this scenario. So you're going to put an equation here, and then you're going to put an equation here. So I have cost of 3 notebooks and 4 pencils is $7. Well, I'm going to use N for notebook and P for pencil. So 3 notebooks, that would be 3N, 4 pencils plus 4P equals $7. And then the cost of 5 notebooks and 8 pencils is $12. Remember, is means equals. 5 notebooks plus 8 pencils equals $12. There's your system. Now part B says determine the cost of 1 notebook and the cost of 1 pencil. So basically we have to solve this system. So what we have to do here is eliminate one letter. So I'm going to get rid of the N because it's closer. So remember we do the flip-flop. I put the 5 on top and the 3 on the bottom. Got to make one of them negative. And then I'm going to carefully distribute and show my work down here. I'm going to pause this and I'll come back after I've distributed. So what I did, I forgot to hit play. I did my careful distribution. I crossed out the 15 N's, and then 20p minus 24p is negative 4p. A positive 35 minus 36 is negative 1. This problem looks familiar. Divide by negative 4, and you get p equals 1/4. That's weird. You don't say a pencil cost me 1/4. You convert that to a decimal, and it's 0.25. So our pencil is 25 cents. Now to solve for the notebook, I'll just plug into this first equation. 3n plus 4. And make sure you rewrite the equation. We don't want to figure out the mystery that is your work. 7.00. So pencil's 25 cents. So 3n plus 4 times 25 cents equals 7. And now I'm going to solve this. 3n plus 1. 4 times 0.25 is 1. Subtract 1 on both sides. So we have 3n equals 6. Divide by 3. N equals 2. And there you go. A notebook's $2. A pencil's 25 cents. For question 21, it says graph f of x equals the square root of x plus 2 instead of x. So remember, that's y equals. So you go to y equals in your little y1 and type second x squared x plus 2. And when you hit the graph button, it looks like this. So if you have it's like a little arc. It's been moved over like that. So what you want to do is go to second graph, and you're going to see points, and then you're going to see on the y side something that says error. That, and I believe it's on -2. That's where you want to start. All right, so I screwed this part up when I actually looked at my calculator. So this is a Delta Math graphing calculator. It doesn't look like yours, but it gives this nice table right here. Here on yours, it'll say error, but on mine it doesn't. So right here on the graphing calculator, it would say error. That's because there's no graph there. So what you want to do is look for whole number points. -2, 0, -1, 1. So I'm going to put that over here. Erase that. -2, 0, negative 1, 1. Let's see what else. 2, 2, and 7, 3. 2, 2, 7, 3. And then I plot it. Negative 2, 0, negative 1, 1, 2, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay. It's not ideal. Okay, here's our point. And then just for good measure, I'm going to label my graph. We didn't get to do too much of this practice, but we have run out of time. So, sorry, you have to solve this equation. Uh-oh, I have lost my, hold on, momentary, there we go. Just want to make this smaller. All right, it says solve the following equation. X squared minus 3x minus 18 equals 0. So you have to solve the equation, but there's an exponent right here. So you can't solve it the normal way, like add 18 to both sides. When you have an exponent, you have to use the quadratic formula. And you will have this either written on the board if you take the test in your class, or if not, it'll be written on your paper for you. Huh. Let's see, that's weird. It was cutting off on that. That's really strange. X equals negative b plus or minus b squared minus 4a. What the heck? Okay, feel free to laugh at me. I'll try this side. X equals negative b plus or minus the square root b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. Remember, you do this when there's an exponent and you have to solve. So, and there's an invisible 1 there. So a equals 1. Oh, look at all these negatives. B equals negative 3. C equals negative 18. Who made up this question? So now I'm going to substitute in. So negative b. Actually, I'm going to rewrite this with blanks. Why is that just not letting me? All over. So I just rewrote the formula with little parentheses where we put our information in. So negative b is negative 3, so that goes there. B squared negative 3 squared minus 4 times a times c negative 18 all over 2 times 1. So now we're going to simplify a little bit. Negative, negative 3. 2 negatives make a positive. So now what you're going to do is put this in your calculator. And you get 4 times 18. I'm trying to figure this out in my head. My family is distracting me. 4 times 18. Wait. 4 times 18. Wait. 3, 72. Oh, 72 plus 9. Okay. Square root of 81. All over 2. So what you're going to do now is split this up into 2 different pieces, one for the plus and one for the minus. X equals 3 plus square root of 81 over 2. And x equals 3 minus square root of 81 over 2. Now, you can actually simplify this further. I know you can because I know we can take the square root of 81. So put that in your calculator. Do alpha x or alpha y equals 3 plus square root of 81 over 2. And you end up with 6. So you can say x equals 6. And then do the same thing over here. 3 minus square root of 81. And divide that whole thing by 2. And you get negative 3. Make sure you simplify fully if you can. I just realized that whole thing was paused. Okay. Do over. I just love repeating myself. Given x equals 6, y equals -2, simplify 3 times x plus 2 times y squared minus 4. So we have x equals 6, so I'm going to plug that in there. 3 times x is 3 times 6. And now we have this part. Plus 2y squared means 2 times y squared. And in this case, y is -2. And then I'm just going to take this -4 and bring it down. Since the minus is just by the 4, it's not -4, it's -4. Now you can put this in your calculator. And if you do that, you get 22. Okay, this test is going to be hard enough. Take the easy way when you can. The last one we're going to do for this review is solving an inequality. This takes equations, inequalities, number lines, graphing, notation, and puts it all together. So here's our problem. Given 3 times the quantity x minus 5 is greater than or equal to 1/2 times 6 plus 2x, solve algebraically for x. So first thing I'm going to do is distribute. So I have 3x minus 15 is greater than or equal to. Don't worry, you have a graphing calculator. 1/2 times 6 is 3. 1/2 times 2x is 1x. So here's our equal to bar. So I'm going to put the x's on the left-hand side, the numbers on the right-hand side. So I'm going to minus 1x over here. So I have 2x minus 15 greater than or equal to 3. Add 15 on both sides. So I'm moving my plain numbers to the right-hand side. 2x greater than or equal to 18. Make some more room. To get x by itself, divide by 2. And you get x is greater than or equal to 9. Now for this section, I would expect that you would show your work for this. Generally, you don't do algebra in your head. It's like writing an essay. You have to explain what you're doing. You have to show work. So now we're going to take our solution and graph it on a number line. And our solution is right here, all the numbers where x is greater than or equal to 9. So I'm going to put a dot on 9. Since there is a line here, I'm going to color it in. And our arrow points to the window, if you're watching this in class. So this arrow points in. I don't know what is going on with this. Hopefully you can see. Isn't that weird? Okay. Something happens when I zoom in and move it over. Okay, there's my number line. And then the next part of this, write the solution using interval notation. Interval notation is where you use the squares and the rounds, and you have 2 numbers. So you take your left number and your right number. Here, our leftmost number is 9. And the 9 is colored in, so that gets a square bracket. Our rightmost number is an arrow, so it's infinity. And you can never color an infinity, so that is round. Guys, you're just going to do your best on this, right? And then we're going to come back and do some multiple choice review and go over some calculator tricks and just do your best, and then you know you can be proud of yourself.